We haven't really talked about on brand much this season, but being on the verge of sweeping possibly the best team in baseball while also seeing a 11-run lead after 6 turn into a save situation, it just simply is the most on brand they've ever been. Honestly, I rather respect them for finding new and interesting ways to torture us. Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about games 76 and 77 of the regular season, where the Astros win the first 2 games of the series against the Baltimore Orioles, and now go into a Sunday afternoon matchup where they have the opportunity to do something that I thought was unthinkable and sweep possibly the best team in the sport of baseball. Both of these games are fascinating from just the fact that the Astros won them in very, very different ways. Because the game on Friday, you have the MLB debut of Jake Bloss, and it looked pretty okay. 3 2/3 of 2-run ball, picked up a couple of strikeouts, and you're thinking to yourself, hey, maybe they have a pitcher. And then you see the athletic trainer walking out, and you're just like, there's no way. There was a way. There was way. Shoulder discomfort, and he's on the 15-day IL. Your heart goes out to him. You're kind of just lying to yourself if you don't find a little bit of comedy in this. Not the fact that a young pitcher's career has been derailed a little bit, but just the fact that the Astros, who have been so injury-riddled, especially with the starting rotation, go, well, Jake Bloss time, and he can't get through his first start before he gets injured, is just, in some weird, sick way, kind of entertaining. The Astros offense was totally picking up the pitching staff. They scored a run in the first inning with a productive ground out by Yordan Alvarez. You get a Jose Altuve RBI double in the second. And then 5th inning, make a little bit of a comeback. You have a 3-run shot from Jake Myers to make it 5-3. You go to the 6th, which is where they just completely open it up. You have the RBI double from Joey Liperfito. Joey Ballgame, who, legacy night. 2 legacy games from 2 funny players, so we're going to talk about the other one in just a second. Another RBI from Jose Altuve with a double. You get Alex Bregman with an RBI double to make it 8-3. You get the fielder's choice from Yainer Diaz to make it 9-3. John Singleton with an RBI single. I said this yesterday, just offhandedly. If you would have told me at the start of 2023 that by May of 2024 we'd be begging for John Singleton to be the everyday first baseman, would not have believed that you were even speaking the same language that I was. I'm going to be honest. But, you know, life's a funny thing. You get an RBI from Mauricio Dubon because the Astros, and this is another discussion, might be the best team at finding random utility infielders. Mauricio Dubon has been fantastic for them. You have a guy like Marwin Gonzalez who was fantastic for them a couple years ago, and Aledmys Diaz doesn't get the praise that he probably should. He walked so that Mauricio Dubon could sprint through this finish line. And then to cap it off, you get another RBI double from Joey Liperfito, makes it 14-3. And you're like, man, easy. It's so over. That's awesome. And you're feeling good. And this is the part where I can't even really complain about the management stuff. You have a 14-3 lead. I understand why you just kind of don't care anymore. And then you have a 14-4 lead, whatever. I understand why you try to get another inning out of Nick Hernandez. I get that. Very doesn't go well. And you bring out Rafael Montero, which also very doesn't go well. And then you finally get to the point where you're like, well, Taylor Scott, save the day. And he did, by the way. I don't know how that works either. Taylor Scott is unironically the best pitcher on this staff. And it's just the meme pick of saying that he was going to be great with that first game live stream. I didn't think I was right. I didn't think I was going to be. But I sure am glad that I was. And then you have Brian Abreu, who somehow, despite the fact that it was 14-3, comes in the 9th with a save opportunity, and he picks it up, so good for him. On one hand, 14 runs. How awesome. On the other hand, save situation. You get to today's game, which was one just so wildly different to Friday's. It is Ronel Blanco out-dueling Corbin Burnes, which, the fact that the two of them are both in Cy Young conversation, and when I heard that Blanco made the rotation, I thought it was going to be long relief in garbage time. But right now he finds himself with a 2.34 ERA, and watching him play, watching him pitch, this doesn't feel like an overachiever. This feels like a person who just gets it. He just has stuff that plays incredibly well, and right now he can go out there and pretty convincingly outduel one of the best pitchers in the sport of baseball. I am astonished every single time Ronel Blanco takes the field, but his season this year has been nothing short of magical, and I really, really, really do hope that he gets his dues and makes the All-Star game. I am fascinated to see how the Cy Young voting is going to work out. I obviously don't think he's quite at the very tippity top of it right yet, but as it stands right now, I don't know how you could leave him any lower than 5th. He has had an unbelievable season for the Astros. And in a year where pretty much every other reliever is, not looked good, or not reliever, every other starting pitcher has been somewhere between mediocre and bad, he couldn't have picked a better time. This has very Fromber in 2020 vibes, except the underlying is a lot better than Fromber in 2020. And also the surface level is a lot better. Fromber that year had like a 3.6 something ERA, which granted it was in like 12 starts because, COVID, yay! But also, it just wasn't an incredible season for Fromber. Compared to everyone else on the staff, it was really, really good because the other guy was Lance, who had a nearly 4 ERA. 2020 was just so terrible. And then, you turn it over to the bullpen. Brian Abreu went yesterday, so you have Ryan Presley. He pitches well. Shutout inning, picks up a strikeout. Josh Hader comes in the 9th, picks up a pair of strikeouts. It was like the way God intended. It was just good pitching out of the bullpen, out of guys that you expected would do that. It was like seeing a freaking unicorn. Speaking of unicorns, offensively for the Astros, Yainer Diaz with a triple, because that's something that Yainer Diaz can do apparently. Mauricio Dubon would send him scampering home with a sacrifice fly. Yordan Alvarez would hit a 2-run shot because of course he would, 16th of the year for Yordan Alvarez. And then a pair of home runs from Chas McCormick would make it 4-1 and 5-1. Chas McCormick finished the day 3 for 3. He had half of their total hits and 3 out of their 5 runs scored. And might I just say, it warms my heart to see Chas McCormick have a great day like this. The outfield has become very, very crowded for the Astros with a handful of different guys who are playing just great baseball. And I feel bad because it always feels like Chas McCormick has gotten the short end of the stick. A performance like this makes it very hard for you not to start him tomorrow, and I hope he does. If I were to look around it, and I know this is not the popular opinion, Chas is not the first outfielder that I would think about trading, just for the lone reason of Chas has done it the longest and the most consistently of anyone out there. So seeing a performance like this really just makes you happy. I want nothing but the absolute best for that player. I want it to ideally be here. And man, a freaking great game like that against a team like Baltimore really, really just has got to give him a boost. So you absolutely love to see that. And now heading into tomorrow, the Astros with the possibility to do what felt like the impossible and sweep the Orioles. They will play at 2:10 Eastern, 1:10 Central. The Astros send Framber Valdez, and the Orioles send Albert Suazar. I'll be here afterwards to talk about it, but as for right now, that is all I have to say. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Astros.